and welcome to NJ Thrive Small Business Webinars. Today is Thursday, August 22nd, and you are attending one of our weekly webinars created to help New Jersey small business owners start, grow, and thrive. I hope everyone is doing well today. Thank you for attending the webinar. If you are new to this webinar, then welcome. Thank you for joining us. And if you have been coming here, supporting our webinars, attending our webinars, we always appreciate your support and looking forward for everyone to join us on more webinars and take advantage of our services. My name is Uzma. I'm a consultant here at NJSBDC, that is America's New Jersey Small Business Development Centers Network. We are a statewide program powered by the SBE, the Small Business Administration, and partners to help small businesses in New Jersey with three main things. And those things are no-cost small business consulting, training and events starting at $0, just like this one that you're attending, and exclusive small business resources. If you'd like to see where you can find our regional centers, which cover multiple or just one county of New Jersey. There are 21 counties of New Jersey, and we cover all of them. Some centers cover more, some centers cover just one. And on the map, you'll see that there are small SBDC logos on some counties where they're located. Go to njsbdc.com and find out where they're located. Now, I've introduced myself, our organization. I hope you can, in the chat, introduce yourself and where you're from. Anything you'd like to share about your small business, why you're joining, how you find out about us, feel free to share. I think that is the best way, because this is a webinar, best way to connect and network. Make sure that you're sending the message to everyone and not just hosts and panelists, so everyone can see. So if you'd like to interact with everyone, then you can do so as well. All right, so we have about 107 people joining us, so I expect to see lots of responses coming in. Again, share that with everyone, not just hosts and panelists. Agenda, we like to go through a couple of things. So first, our headlines, as always, some things, events, programs, initiatives we like to share with our small business community, whether it's in New Jersey or nationwide. Then our presentation, which of course, that is what you're here for today, and Q&A session in the end. All right, so these three are the small business headlines of the week. Let's go through them. I will go through these. Excuse me. I will go through these very briefly. The links will be shared in the chat, and you can open the hyperlinks, or you can just save the chat. First is from SBA. SBA is a great resource for small business owners to keep in their small business resources loop. So definitely check this out whenever you can. This is a press release. SBA to host 3rd annual Small Business Cyber Summit during Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Summit aligns with the cybersecurity strategy, will rally cyber nerds and business moguls to protect entrepreneurs from escalating attacks. All right, so the Cyber Summit is from October 16th, is on October 16th and 23. Free cybersecurity series builds on the Biden-Harris administration's national cybersecurity strategy to equip the small business with the tools and the resources needed to bolster their infrastructure. All right, if you'd like to register, the event is open to all and is free. You just have to go to this link and register. Second is also a press release from the SBA, opens nominations for 2025 National Small Business Week Awards. All right, so National Small Business Week happens every year, annually. This is just saying that the nominations are open. So if you'd like to nominate yourself, if you'd like to nominate friends, family members who you think are deserving of an award for National Small Business Week and are deserving of a recognition, then definitely nominate them. There are some categories as listed here. There are some requirements, I'm sure, and you can find all these things, criteria, by visiting this link. Nominations must be submitted by December 5th, 4 p.m. The award ceremony will be in DC from May 4th to 5th. Press release from NJEDA, New Jersey Economic Development Authority, another great resource for New Jersey small business owners to keep in their loop. August 19th, just a couple of days ago, NJEDA plans to launch programs supporting liquor license acquisition for small business. Proposed $10 million will advance Governor Murphy's initiative to reform states' liquor license laws. There's some information here. Let's see, quickly go through them. Sign legislation will increase the number of available licenses statewide by revitalizing inactive licenses. Let's see. Okay. This is a grant, and under the proposed program, grants of up to $100,000, but no more than 50% of the purchase price of the license. Applicants must possess a recently purchased inactive plenary retail consumption. Applications will be accepted on a rolling basis for 3 years or until the funds are exhausted. All right, so those are the headlines of the week. Hopefully they were informational and useful. Click on the links and you will be able to open them. Some rules that we'd like everyone to be mindful of. If you have questions, please put them in the Q&A box. You'll find it on the Zoom bar at the bottom of your screen. This will help us answer them properly towards the end in the Q&A session. We want to address your questions. The speaker wants to address them. If you put them in the chat, they might get lost. If you would like to receive the slides from our speaker, then please complete a brief survey. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you would like to see in future from our webinars, and you will receive the link. It's not through email, it's just a link that you get on the screen. This webinar is being recorded. The link is being shared in the chat. And today we have Jinni Rock-Bailey. If you've attended our previous webinars, then you'll recognize Jinni as a familiar face. She is a specialty consultant with us. And this is just part 1 of the 2 series that we're doing, Mastering NJ State Certifications, SBE, MBE, WBE, MWBE, LGBTQ+. There are lots of certifications. You're in for a treat with Jinni. Jinni, welcome. Please share your screen. Please share your audio, video. We're excited to have you. Our audience is excited to have you. I will stop sharing my screen. And while you do that, let me just go through the chat and give a quick shout out to everyone. So we see Deanne, Deborah, Gabby, Karen, thank you so much. Nagima, Shamika, Sharifa, Gabby. We have lots of people coming on with us. Thank you so much. We have right now 45 people joining. So excited to see lots of response and everything coming in. There you are, Jinni.
Okay. It says that I can't start my video. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to do this webinar today, and I was looking at the businesses that have signed on, and you are like the ideal business for what we're going to share this afternoon. Yes, like Uzma said, there are a number of certification opportunities in the state of New Jersey, and I am going to go through most of them with you. We don't have time to dive deeply, but later on, Uzma can tell you how you can reach out to me, and I can, talk to you a little bit more about what we have to offer. Next slide. So what are the topics I'm going to cover today? I'm going to give you the goals and objectives of why we're having this webinar, the types of certifications that exist in our state, the status of certifications in terms of in terms of what you may be available, what you may be eligible for, and the different statuses of each certification by your organizational structure. And I decided to go a little bit into the weeds today because I'm finding with the clients that I'm consulting on, so many of them are missing key parts of their application because they're not prepared for it. Most of the applications now, I'd say 99% of the applications are done online. The state wants you to do them online. I encourage you to do them online because there's a faster return. And then I'm gonna end the conversation by talking about some of the expanding opportunities that I've identified through my certification world. Next slide. Our goal is to share new opportunities for your business through certifications. And I'm not assuming that you don't know them, but I want to make sure that I cover some key opportunities and why it's important to have them. Then my objective is really to provide the necessary tools to navigate through the certification process. I never say anybody can do it because it's different. It is a different process, but you have to be ready. The next slide. So here are the number of certifications that we have in the state. And so in general, before I even go through these titles, I didn't want to move on until I told you that for each one of these certifications, they have to be certified every year, which means you have to let the state know if there have been any changes in your business. And if you don't do it, then you are knocked out and have to start all over again, which means that in some instances, like now with our signature programs like minority women business, the ones minority down are signature programs for the state because they're actual certification programs. If you don't certify that everything is the same, or here are some changes, you may have to start all over again. And I'm going to go into details, but I didn't want you to think that once you apply, you don't have to touch them until you have to recertify. Not true. The state wants to know what you're doing with your business and the status of your business every year. Next slide. So we have two statuses of certification. One is provisional, which is relatively new, and that's a certification for 1 year. Like the state's looking at what you're doing with your business. It requires limited documents, and there are no financial documents required for submission. This is why this one is so cool, because for those businesses, let's say are just starting out, have been in the business for maybe 1 or 2 years, this gives you an opportunity to be certified without submitting your taxes. Because so many of our small businesses either have asked for extensions or have not done their taxes or don't really recognize how important it is to stay on top of them when you want to get certified. Now, recertification on our signature programs is good for 5 years. And let me tell you, this is why I'm so busy and tired, because so many of the businesses that I certified a year ago are up for recertification. And it can be a daunting task if you don't have all of your documents in order. For instance, next slide, please. On the application, it asks for your contact information, and the address it's asking for is the address that you certified your business. And it also gives you the option for having a mailing address. But the original needed address is the one that you certified your business, and it's got to be at a brick and mortar. You can't use a UPS. You can't use an ad hoc address. It's got to be a brick and mortar. Now, for some certifications, you can, but not for the state. They want to make sure that 730 Pelham Road is an official building and not a P.O. box. They want the date you actually started the business, purchased the business, or inherited the business. And they don't want month and year. They want the full date. And they also want the titles by organization status. So for a corporation, for the state, your title is CEO or president. For an LLC, for the state, your title is managing member, managing partner. And if you're a sole proprietor, your title is owner. Next. So when we look at, and I'm taking you through the process of applying online, so many clients get stumped by their codes. The state is asking you to identify codes in these 3 areas that represent your business. So you're stuck. You go to the North American Industry Classification, is also known as your census. Construction, I usually apply, or you can get it on the New Jersey government website, which is excellent. I was there this morning and I'm always surprised how much information is right there. And then there's the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing. On it would look like an NIGP. And those are the commodity codes for the state of New Jersey. So you have more commodity codes than you may have NACE codes, but you're required to give one code for each section if it represents part of your business. So if you're not in the construction business or hanging on the fringes of construction, you don't have to give a code. And this is new. This is relatively new because when I started in this with this passion of mine, which I absolutely love, you had to either give 12 or 6, depending on the section. But now the state's saying, look, I'll take 1 or 2. I still, because I'm an overachiever, I still ask my clients to give me more than 1 or 2, because as we go through this process, I let them see how important it is, how many other businesses with different names are attached to the same code. And I said, you can use this as a marketing tool. You can use this as the opportunity to expand your business. Every time you do something for certification applications, you should think about how it's going to help you generate revenue. So it's important for you to get your census. And for the census, the NAIC codes, you're asked to give one when you register your business in the state. And that is mandatory to participate in this program. You must be registered in the state to participate. And it's confirmed when you get a business registration certificate. And why I'm being so exact about this is because you can get a certificate of formation and not have registered with the state. So when you get to me and I'm trying to register you with the state for a certification, I run into a block. Now, it's not that it takes months or years for you to get a BRC, but you can't get the certification unless you have it, and you can get it online. So any of you who are interested in being certified, this is in the state of New Jersey now, make sure that you have your business registration certificate, your BRC. And I just love the NIGP codes because it just opens your eyes to not only how many businesses and functions around the state of New Jersey, but it also opens your eyes to where it may be limitless for you as you grow your business and want to do other things, but stay in the same umbrella. You can get ideas from your codes. Next slide, please. So again, the certification process has 2, I call them the statuses. The provisional is based on 1 year, and under your organizational structure, you also have to submit limited number of documents. The state's not going to let you get away without proving that you are in business. And I totally agree with this, that you're in business and that you have documents to support it. With the recertification progress, it's the same in terms of organizational structures, but you're asked for 2 times the number of documents based on your organization structure. Because so often when clients come to me, they know that they're an LLC, or LLP, or they're a sole proprietor, but they don't understand what documents are needed to support it. Next slide. So for the provisional certification status, again, that's for 1 year, all organizational structures can apply. S Corp, C Corp, LLC, LLP, sole proprietor, and down the list. I just mentioned the ones that are the most popular for me. So what's required is an owner's statement, a copy of your certificate of formation. If you're a corporation, we want articles of incorporation, and they even may want bylaws. So I always have them ready. If you're in a partnership, you must have a partnership or operating agreement. And I'm just listing a few for provisional clients of mine. It's basically generally five documents that they have to submit to apply for the certification. And I'm giving you 2 of them now, unless it's a partnership. But I usually have LLCs and sole proprietors. So it's your owner statement, it's your certificate of formation, it's your identification, which most people submit their driver's license, and it's an affidavit that the state has provides to us, and you can also get a copy of it when you apply. And it's also this crazy request called organization chart. And I put quotes around crazy because when people get to organization charts, the first thing they say to me, but it's only me. It's just me. I'm the only one in the organization. I have nobody else. So I say, yeah, that's cool. So you can put yourself down. But what I also recommend is that in your downlines, show the state the kind of services that you provide. So if you're in transportation, you may want to put hauling, um, uh, um, moving small vehicles, moving large vehicles. You may want to put them down. You may include them as an example of your services. So then they go, you know what? There are other things that we do, like that I want as you grow your business, or if you have employees, let's say 1, because to apply for this, you have to be your business's employee. So when it asks for how many employees you have, you can't say 0. You have to include yourself as 1. So then you start to think about all of the things that you like your business, your operations of the business to be. So if it's just you, but you know you're going to need a project manager, put that down. If it's just you and you know you're going to need truckers, put that down. So I recommend that you just don't put organization chart, 1 line, me. And I've seen it. And when they come to me for a consultation, they leave with a full organization chart. You can go to the next slide. So when you recertify your business, that's after you've been in business for 1 year, the state will send you an email saying, oops, it's time to recertify. They usually send it out about 30 days in advance, right? So that's why it's also very important, because they're sending it out to the last and maybe only email that you've given them. So if you changed your email address, you're not going to get this. And you can make changes during the year. And now what's so cool, which they didn't have before, is you can go into your uniform certification application summary and edit it. So you can make those kinds of changes. So I want to just look at the recertification for a minute. And I want you to just think about how different when you recertify the business actually is. Now they're asking, of course, for your articles of incorporation. They're asking for bylaws, but they're also asking for a lease. So if you're a home-based business, you go, well, what am I supposed to give them my lease if I'm renting? No, you don't want to do that. If you own your home and you use that as your address that you registered the business, you can give them a copy of your mortgage statement, or you can create a lease for you, Jinni Rock-Bailey, and my business. And in that lease, you treat it as if it was any other bona fide lease. You have the effective dates that, I mean, it's so often for my clients, they're like, what do I have to do that for? But it's the effective dates that you're at that address. You have lease kind of content that says if something happens, the business is responsible for it. If you're late, the business is responsible for it. So the state realizes that this may seem not important, but one of the best things about it for me is it gets those businesses in the process of thinking about what kind of lease do I want to have. So you have to have a lease, and you as the owner and the company as your client, as your rentor, both of you sign it. You will not be given the certification if you don't have a lease. It wants 3 years of taxes. So you say, well, I've only been in business for 2 years. But you can only give the taxes that you have. So you give them 2 years, but it will, if you've been in business, let's say for 4 years, and for 2023, you asked for an extension, you can also include that. But they want your New Jersey business and personal taxes. They don't want your federal taxes. They want your New Jersey and business and personal taxes. And so with your personal taxes comes your Schedule C, especially for sole proprietors or LLCs. With corporations, you're going to give them the total package with all the attachments. And that's really important. And also with the taxes, they're going to ask for a profit and loss statement. And including a balance sheet. That statement should start from, we'll do it now. My clients who are recertifying now in August 24, their initial application was accepted as a provisional certification in August 23. So the profit and loss statement should represent that full year, but it will be as of August 24, yes. So this means that hopefully you are doing your profit and loss statements quarterly, because it will help you at the end of the year. Look, I can tell you, I've done them at the end of the year, and I'm like scrambling for receipts and everything. But you want to make sure that you make these certification processes as easy as possible for you, because you still have to run the business while you're doing this. Next slide. So why should you certify? It's really access. The certification itself is access to public and private procurement opportunities. So what are public opportunities? Those are opportunities in the state of New Jersey's municipalities and cities. How can you participate or be seen in that? You could go to a city like Jersey City. You could look at go to the webpage of Jersey City, and you can ask, how do you do business with women, with minorities, with gays, if I'm a soldier, if I'm a veteran or a disabled veteran, and it will pop up with information on how to do that. Now, why I'm giving that example is because each municipality and city and state has their own way of doing business with this program. So if you're not sure of what the verbiage should be, just think of how you certified and ask the question. On the private procurement section, think about hospitals, universities, businesses, and business parks that you would like to do business with. Go to their webpage and excuse me, with the same process and ask, how do you work with women businesses? Do you work with women businesses? Because the catchphrase is the woman, is the terminology woman or minority or disabled vet. And once that opens up for you, then it takes you to another page that will allow you to apply. Excuse me, I brought my allergies with me today. But what is so cool, I think, about all of this is the fact that when everybody thinks about their tax dollars, their state dollars, their federal dollars, but on the state side, public and private institutions receive dollars from the state. It is often and should be a benefit to the organization in general to have a diverse contractors pool. And that's why so many of these programs are in place. So to not participate is not good for you. It's not good for anyone who wants to generate revenue. So, and I want you to know, I see these questions popping up and Isma's going to help me answer some of them, but I want to just make sure that I get through these things because it's so important. You're not in business for the fun of it. You're not in business for the fun of it, but to have the fun, you got to generate revenue. And all of this takes time. Even after you get your certification, it takes time because that's really when the procurement starts. So why certifications is you're included in a marketing directory that is created and maintained by the state, which is called New Jersey Savvy, and it's free to you. Now, this is my commercial. With all the changes that I see coming in this world, in the certification world, there was a time when we paid for a certification. You had to pay a fee. Now we don't have to do that. It's free for you to apply for all of those certifications I mentioned to you in the beginning of the program. But I don't know how long that's going to be. I don't have any contact, any crystal ball to the state. But all I can say is that if you're interested in doing this now, get in on it now. Get in on it now. Another reason why it's important for you to certify is because when a prime is looking for a business and they see that it's certified, what it also tells them is that they've been vetted by the state of New Jersey, which is perfect because there are some questions that they might want to ask you that they know the state has already taken care of, especially if you're in that recertification status where you've given them your taxes. Not to say that the prime or a subprime who's looking to do business with you is going to automatically ask you for your taxes, but it's good to know that someone saw them on their part, just as if you were the prime or you were the subprime. You would want to make sure that the business that you contracted with was in good standing with the state. So it's also, I have to smile at this because I know when people get this certification, when businesses get this certification, my clients, I send them a congratulation letter because it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's only not a big deal when you don't do anything with it and you put it up on your wall. Nobody sees it. But it is a big deal because it's like the process is ready, set, the certification is go. So it gives you the opportunity to really, it gives you the opportunity to really present to those businesses that you want to do business with, that you're serious. When I get a client who's like, I don't really know, I'm not really sure. Sometimes I make them wait because I've got a whole list of clients who are like ready to go. And it's not that I think that's bad. I have additional consultations with them, but my goal is to get you certified. And it's not always an easy task because if your EIN number isn't, I call it clean, which means that I can't break through the wall of getting you certified, then we have to have another conversation on what may be the problem. So are the challenge, because sometimes problems you can't correct. Most of the challenges that I get from that brick wall that I face, we can correct because it's usually you have not paid your annual report dues, and you have to do that. It could be an old tax statement that you thought you had taken care of and hadn't. So it's bringing that to your attention now. Thank goodness, before you get a contract and the prime has to say, well, look, we're having problems, getting clearance on you, because they're going to do their own due diligence, right? Because they're asking for that information. This gives you the opportunity to clear all that up. And in some cases, not most, but in some cases, the brick wall was hit because the state didn't do what they were supposed to do. They didn't transfer that paid document to the office that needed to see it. So I always do that kind of due diligence before we go forward, because I don't want anything to get in the way of your joy. So let's get that out of the way. I work with you on it, and then we start the application process, because I can't get any further until I get a clearance from the state. Another reason is if you're in business, you always want to make sure that you're in control of what people are saying about you. You want to make sure that your visibility reflects your efforts. And that's what this certification will do for you. It enhances the visibility of your company. Okay. I cannot share enough about, even though it's daunting sometimes for us who are in this field, but I can't say enough about how great it is when you really start to participate in this program, into the programs that are offered. And one way for you to do this is to go to our state website. It's nj.gov, or it's nj.gov. Go to our state's website and look for contract opportunities. Register with NJ-STAR. Everybody says NJ-STAR, they don't do anything, they don't have contracts for me. But registering with them is so often, not registering with them is often the question that primes will say, are you registered with NJ-STAR? And there are some municipalities in the state of New Jersey where you must be registered with NJ-STAR. So why not do it? Why not do it? And there are different levels within NJ-STAR, but we promote you applying, be seen there, be seen on NJ Savvy. There are so many other things that are attached to the certification process, and I'm really watching my time here, but there are so many other benefits. One thing you also want to do, especially, you should do it in the provisional stage, but if you have a business, you should have a capability statement. It's not mandatory with New Jersey State certifications, but if you move forward in the federal space, they're going to want a capability statement. And it's also, it's 2 or 3 steps above a business card because you're giving more information. And when you give someone a capability statement, because they're popular, but they're still not accepted or adopted by most businesses. But when you have a nice capability statement prepared and you give it to someone or a business that you're interested in working with, or you're at a networking event where you don't have enough time because who knows, it could be speed networking, it could be so many people you want to see, your capability statement will answer some questions for your business. So, I mean, I think that's important. Next slide. So, I have many words that I like to express all of this, but today, because I kind of see some things that are going on, not that I have a crystal ball, I'm not clairvoyant, I don't howl to the moon or things like that, maybe, but I think that to participate in this, you really have to have a concerted and consistent effort. Now, many people start and come back because that's how their life is. And I get it. We all get it. But just remember, being a part of this, having a certification can be your ticket to that opportunity that you've dreamed of. Now, the certification can't guarantee you anything, but it can ensure that you'll be seen. It can't guarantee you a government contract, but it's great to have it. And there are many businesses that are doing quite well who don't think this is for them, and I applaud them. But this is an opportunity for those eligible to get a step up on other businesses. Now, the SBE, the Small Business Enterprise Registration slash certification, is the only designation that you can use to bid on contracts. So you want to make sure that you get that. I have some clients that say, well, I do that. I don't push it, but I suggest that you make sure you get your SBE along with the other certifications. Concerted and consistent effort reveals itself like this. You should have a business plan. When in doubt, go to the state website. They have examples. Mr. and Mrs. Google are wonderful. They can give you examples, and you can also actually look for examples. You must start to become part of a network. It could be a local chamber of commerce. It could be a meetup. It could be these groups that are meeting in cafes, because now we're open and so we can do more things. And you want to look for them in your municipality. I believe that municipalities want to do business with companies that live in their municipalities. So don't shortchange your municipality. You want to be in a position where you can market your business. The NJSBDC, along with the 12 other regional offices that we have across the state, offer webinars for you. They may not all offer the same webinar, but you have the opportunity, wherever you are on the globe, really to tap into these webinars. And we have webinars on how to market your business, how to produce a business plan, a marketing plan, the marketing section of your business plan, how to do that, how to make sure that your business is out front. But really to participate, and I didn't want to put these in any chronological order because sometimes some things work best for others, but you want to make sure that your business files are organized. You want to have your certification applications ready because you're going to need it when you apply again for the recert. And you can look at it 5 years, just touch up what needs to be touched up, but it'll be there. So you want to make sure that your taxes are in order, but also filed online or where your filing cabinet, wherever you want to do it. You want to make sure that your files are in order. you should have a template of an RFP that you're interested in working on, because why wait until the RFP of your dreams comes out, and then you got to learn how to complete an RFP. So small business owners, really, you don't have downtime. You're thinking about your business all the time. Make sure that your thoughts are constructed and focused on some things that can really take you to the next level. And also reach out to other folks. You also have to have a clear understanding of your operation. And this is why that organization chart, which I smile about because people really hate doing it, and I give examples of everything, but this is why it's really important to visualize your organization chart or what your organization looks like, because it's all yours. You can move them around. You can determine whether that position is needed when you look at your operation, because to be heavy in the operation side means that you may not be making or generating the revenue that you need. And there's more. Contact your local SBDC. I work with a few of them, and I work with competent, smart people. I'm on the state side too, and we are, we do this because we love it. I also am a small business owner, and what I tell my clients is I don't share anything with you that I haven't done and maybe failed at. I don't fail, but I have a challenge doing. I'm not going to share that with you. I'm not going to share something I haven't done. I'm going to share it with you. I have them laughing. I say, I'm your astronaut in the middle of the ocean. For you, as your business consultant, I am trying to look for everything that's possible that you're capable of getting, because this is a very serious program, and we all take it seriously. And next slide. I think it's just thank you. Thank you for coming on today, for spending this time with us. I have competent people working with me, and I have hands that are helping me push this through because my system decided not to like me today. But I really want to thank everybody that's come on. Isma?
Hi again, Jinny. So wonderful presentation as always. You received lots of responses, lots of questions, and we want to go through them. And we are good on time too. So that's always a good sign. That means we can get through as many questions as we can.
Okay.
Just a couple of things before we go into our Q&A session. Just a couple of reminders. We've shared the links in the chat. We'll reshare them as we do this. Jinni, I'm sure as you can see the chat, you have lots of thank yous coming in. Excellent presentation.
That's so great. Yay.
Yay. As I was saying earlier, two things. So your questions should go in the Q&A box. Second, well, three things actually. The first one already addressed. Second, this webinar is available, will be available. It's been being recorded. It will be available on our YouTube channel, no longer on our website as before, but our YouTube channel. So just go on YouTube, search NJSBDC or webinars. Our channel will pop up and you can view our webinars there. Second, if you'd like to receive the slides that Jinni just presented on, then please complete a brief survey and you will get the slide, the link to the Google Slides on the screen. Now, I am seeing here 40 questions on my end. So we have about 30 minutes or so on our time, with our time. So let's do this rapid fire style. We'll address them as quickly as we can. For more in-depth answers, for more in-depth questions, we'll sort of skip through them, and I advise everyone to register. Now, how do you do that? We will share a link in the chat. You basically go to njsbc.com. It'll say request counseling. I will show that on the screen as well. You request counseling, you fill out our registration, little registration guide. you tell us what you need, but in the comments somewhere, mention that you attended this webinar with Jinni and you'd like to speak with Jinni about certifications. And that is a surefire way for you to get connected to her. If you don't mention any of that, you will probably get connected with another consultant based on the business need that you described. Make sure you ask for Jinni and you will be connected to her, and you'll be able to set an appointment with her. All right, that's our little spiel. Let's go to the questions. From Parker, Jinni, is there a certificate for disabled business owners who are not veterans but own a company? I didn't see any mention of this.
No, I don't know of a certification for that. That's I can answer your question that way, but I think that since all businesses have to make reasonable accommodations for particular protected class designations, then you let them know ahead of time. And I would also include it on my capability statement. And this is such a great question because now we're being asked to put our handicap and vet information on our web pages. And so I've just updated mine. I updated mine a long time ago, but when that occurred, then I knew some other things were happening. So don't let whatever your situation is, don't let that get in the way. You ask, but I don't know of a certification outside of the disabled vet that certification that we offer.
Got it.
Yeah.
Next question is from Raj. Is there a separate application to renewing the expired certification more than 2 years?
The recertification application is the same, and you would do it online. And there are what I like to use, and if you could type this in, but I like to use njportal.com/door, DOR, /SBE registry to apply. Because I saw another question about where's provisional? I don't see provisional. That's when it designates what type of certification that you're applying for. But the online application is the same for both. But it asks for more information. And that's so you have your 1 year provisional, unless you got certified before provisionals came into place, or you have like I have a client who's going on recert and they had 3 years, 4 years ago. So they're recertifying now, but it's the same application. It's just the documents are more and the questions are more. They're asking for your bank. They're asking for shareholders. Well, they're asking that on a provisional too, but they're asking for all kinds of information from corporations that they don't necessarily ask for on the provisionals. Because the provisional is just, I'm looking at you. Really, it's one of those kind of applications. Good. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop. I'm going to slow down. Good.
Yep. Can you just repeat the link that you mentioned? njportal.com/door and
/, and then it's SBE registry.
e-registry.
And that'll take you right to an application, how to apply. And then you'll see that it'll have provisional, and then the drop-down menu is for recerts, and it'll have all the documents that you need.
Got it. Okay. I just put in a link. That doesn't work. That led to an error, but I will find it for you. Don't worry. And we will put it in the chat. I probably entered, okay, Karen. Well,
this is like my last name, so I can just rattle it off, right?
Yeah.
It's njportal.com/door, DOR, /SBE registry.
Karen, good eye. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
Yeah.
And there we go. We get there.
Okay.
Okay, so use the new link that I just put in, and that should work. Okay, next question. Paul. Yes, from Paul. I have already received my conditional approval for the LGBTQ plus minority certification. I did not finalize the permanent because of the required information to provide. Why does the state need 2 years of tax returns and some of the other PII required for permanent certification?
Well, no, this is a really good question, and let me just say this. You're registered with the business. It's not to say that if you owe taxes, you're not going to be, if you owe taxes, you're not going to be qualified. But what it is, it's really a check off to make sure that you are a bona fide resident of the state of New Jersey. So much of it has to do with your status as a resident. Um, and that is a requirement. That's all, I mean, that I'm in a position to say, because you also have to give 1 to 3 years of your taxes when you apply, or a guesstimate when you apply for your SBE. They want to make sure that basically it's who you really say you are, who your business is. And I'm so glad you got the LGBTQ plus, because we're one of a few states that are offering it.
Yep.
Okay.
I just want to address something I just saw in the chat. So earlier I mentioned that if you'd like to speak with Jenny, get a consultation with her, then just let us know that specifically that you'd like to speak with her. It's not in this chat or in a Q&A or something. It's something that you do on our website. So NJSBDC.com, let me just put it here. You go there and it'll have the request counseling button. It's a red hot button right there. You could request counseling, and that's where you go through the steps. There will be a little box for you to share a comment or something. That is where you say that you attended this session with Jinni and you'd like to speak to her about certifications. All right, moving on. Who can represent all small businesses and convince the state to amend the process to certify for 3 years like New York?
That's like so far above where I am. There was a time where it was there was a certification for 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, COVID did a lot too. I'm grateful to have 5 years actually, because that gives you 5 years to operate your business, get federal certifications, because you've got to maintain by certifying your status, you have to maintain it in the state of New Jersey. But 5 years is a really good window for so many businesses to operate their business without having to recertify, without having to worry about recertifying. But I don't know. I guess you could contact the government, the state government. I don't think you're gonna get it though. I really don't. Wish you would, but I don't think so. Okay.
Awesome. Next question is from Anonymous. Does the state send reminders for you to confirm whether or not there have been changes each year?
And the certification process, no, but there are newsletters. What I find really helpful are Google alerts. You can Google alert for New Jersey state certification changes, and they'll send them out to you. But I know I just visit the state website often, and I'm in this business, so we try to share. Like there's now an acronym for LGBTQ plus LEB that a colleague of mine, and I think I know everything, a colleague of mine shared, and I'm like, I went to the site and there it was, and now I will put that on my documents as well. But and you can also apply for newsletters with the state. It's really an interesting little site, actually.
Yep. Newsletters are usually the best reminders.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I do see someone reply to that, so thank you for that as well. Next is from Miss Nikki. Once you certify, can it go for multiple states or do you have to apply for each state?
You apply for each state. And there in many states, let's use New York, for example. New York has much more requirements than New Jersey does. And New York is a good and a bad example because it takes so long to get certified. But yes, you can apply to other states. And in many cases, and I can't identify all of them, it's not as cumbersome as if you were applying for the first time. They accept reciprocity, our application, and then you have to fill out their paper, their applications. Also, I'm doing them for many states and it's always different. That's why it's important to keep your documents together, especially for each state. Go ahead.
Yep. Next question is from CB. For the certification, do they publicize the address that you put in, or is it protected from public visibility?
Well, that's why people use their mailing address. They register with their, if let's say your home address, but you use your mailing address. And people can, like I know I use a UPS address as my mailing address. That's not the brick and mortar that I registered the business. So that's a safe way. And it's also an opportunity for you to look at other um, um, turnkey operations where you can rent a mailing space. And there's a lot of them, especially in some of the cafe mailing spots where people meet. They're also offering mailboxes. NJIT in their incubator, they have mailboxes that you can use.
Got it. Good to know. Next question is from Karen. If I am a single member LLC that files taxes as an S Corp, is my title still managing member?
You guys are so good with the stumped question. I would say yes. Yeah, because my escorts use LLCs. And an LLC is still a corporation. It's just really how you want to do your taxes. But I would use managing member.
Got it.
And
Next
and that's really I'm in the process now. What's our time? I'm in the process now of gathering together a list of certified accountants that we can offer our businesses because it's so hard to find them and have an appropriate price. But that's a good question for your accountant as well. Um, yeah, I would ask them, but can't go wrong with your managing member.
Got it. Next question is from Orain. Is there an application fee for the certifications?
Not now, there isn't. No.
Yes, I think since COVID, they've stopped it, right?
What was yeah, it was a little before COVID, but COVID, yeah.
Okay.
Because you
Uh,
don't have to notarize anything now either.
yeah.
Your affidavits are attestations to you saying who you were and who you are, not were, are. And that eliminates you from going out, right? And that was a big thing for COVID. You had to wait until someone came into the bank who notarized and they didn't come in every day. So that's a big plus. Go ahead.
Next question. What is an owner's statement?
An owner's statement is something that says, it gives your name, and I always ask my clients to give their home address. That's the statement that you're attesting that you are who you are and this is where you live. Now, I have clients who say, well, I really don't want to give my home address. Give your business address because they have it anyway, but they want to make sure that you are a bona fide resident of the state of New Jersey. And that's what you're attesting to in a statement. Because sometimes people think that you have to give a statement of who you are and what you do. You craft your statement before you get on the portal to apply. You have 255 characters to describe your business.
All right, next question. I have my provisional certification. However, I don't know how or where to start to maximize this opportunity. Please advise.
Um, well, I don't know what the business is. I'm a big proponent of looking out counties and municipalities that you want to work in. You should work where you want to work. Um, and I recommend my clients to send that certification to the county, upload it to the county or municipal website, and find out who the purchasing agent is in that respective location who handles the product you want to sell them. Get their name, you can call them. I was shocked at how, I guess because this is their job, but how open and receptive they are from hearing from you. And why this is also good is when you want to apply or respond to an RFP, RFI, or an RFQ, it's really good for you to know beforehand who the purchasing agent is. Because, this is on the procurement end, I would respond to any RFP, any RFQ, or any RFI that was related to my business, because they look at those things. The purchasing agent looks at them. Who's going to respond? Who's got the best price? And then you show up on the RFP. Not. Mhm.
Got it. Next question. Okay, let me just see how many more questions we have. Wow, our audience is
Like,
at it.
ask Jinni, right? Ask Jinni.
Yes, ask Jinny. Um, 40 questions more to go. All right, let's get through these. Raj, if you are moving from sole proprietorship, 10 years worth of data, to an incorporation, no tax return yet, how does this work?
Um, when you move from any designation to another, that really is it's starting all over again for certifications. Because I'm not an expert in how that is really affecting the business. But for certifications, you're starting all over again. And as a sole proprietor, you're working on your social security number most of the time. So you have to have your EIN, and you have to make sure that everything is as clean as possible. And then you apply for a certification as a corporation. So if you don't have a corporate kit to gather all those documents together so that you can actually complete them, and you should give them to the state. So it's a much more intense actually, it's a much more intense process. But if that's where your business is taking you, then do it. Get some consultation. That would be one thing that I would do some research for you, and make sure that you have the right information.
Got it. Can you add 1099s to your organization chart? For example, if I have a virtual assistant, but they're a 1099, not an employee, can they be added?
Yes, they can, but you can't include them as employees. They're full-time employees, and you have to be really careful with 1099. I do this whole workshop on 1099 versus employees. 1099s are people who you hire to do a specific job, and you don't give them any guidance on really how to do it. You hire them because they have the skill to do it. And with my 1099s, they all have to have a business. So if I'm hiring them and it's Jane Doe, I don't know, Jane Doe, but if you have an LLC, you can still be a 1099, right? And then there's more meat to that business. But to answer your question, yes, you can include a 1099 in your operations on the organization chart.
Perfect. Yev asks, am I eligible to certify if in business for less than a year?
Yes, there's no eligibility requirements based on length of time in business.
All right. Is there an income requirement for the business to be eligible for certification or recertification?
No.
Gotcha. Nicole, if I set my certification in without the organization chart, which they thought since they're the only person in the business, it would not be needed and get rejected, do they have the opportunity to reply?
So when you don't send all the required documents, the state sends you what is called an AI email, additional information. And it'll include about your organization charts, very nice. And you have 30 days to respond. Because that is a requirement. And that 30 days, I have some other tips too, but that 30 days gives you an opportunity to put one together. It could be any way. Some people submit organization charts with pictures of their pictures of their employees. They do a triangle. They're very creative because they're not telling you what it should look like. They're telling you that it's labeled as an organization chart. And what do you have?
Got it. Thank you. Next question. What if you misplaced your article of incorporation and bylaws? How can you obtain a duplicate copy?
If you filed them with the state, then you should be able to get them back. And you can ask that question on the state site. That's the only thing I can tell you. That's why it's so important to file them away. If you did them online, hopefully you've kept a copy online. And then think about if you needed them to open a bank account, the bank would have it.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. Next question is from Sylvia. If we just started a business, what taxes do we need to include in the application?
Well, if you just started a business, let's say you started this year, you would only start paying taxes at the end of 2024. So that's where the provisional is so important because for that first year, you don't have to submit any taxes. And there's this little quirk on the portal for SBEs. If you don't put information in, let's say the SBE for revenue, if you don't put a dollar amount in there, my experience has been that it doesn't move it. So I always tell my clients, put $100 in. Put
Got it.
$100 in so you can move it. But to answer your question, if you just started a business and you're applying for certification, you don't need taxes. You only need them when you recertify.
Sounds good. Next question is from Raj. We are an IT reseller and consulting firm. I am so sorry if you're able to hear that loud screeching noise in the background, but that's a fire alarm going off. The question is there an effort to make all New Jersey state agencies to provide as much opportunity as possible to local small businesses?
Is there a what? What
Is
word did
there
you
an
use?
effort to make
An
all New
effort.
Jersey state agencies provide as much opportunity as possible to local small businesses?
Well, Raj, I'm gonna say yes. I have to believe that the advantages of having a diverse in terms of size of businesses for organization is it adds so much to the quality of your business. And we see it because when you look at all of the codes for all these businesses and it's required, because that's another way that primes find you, subprimes find you. I think it's a big effort on the state part. Even in the announcements, when we talked about what the state is doing in terms of cybersecurity, this whole SBRR and other technological efforts that the state is introducing, they're for small businesses. Excuse me, they want small business to know that not only is consultation there, but dollars are there to assist you in helping us, even with us at NJSBDC. My challenge and sometimes I'm confused, not confused, but don't understand why more businesses don't take advantage of the small business development centers to get this information. So much of it has to do with how are you going to find out about us if you don't know until you come if you come to something like this, which means we have to do more marketing. But I think there is an effort, and the governor is definitely a proponent. The governor of New Jersey is definitely a proponent of small businesses. Just look at his efforts and look at the workforce development that, they're asking for. There's a plea for small businesses to participate. Now, do we always have enough money to help you get going? No, we don't. But there are creative ways to look for it as well. NJEDA. I mean, that's one that we refer our clients to a lot. But to answer your question, I think the state of New Jersey is making an effort. I can't say if it's the best effort or the worst effort because I don't look at measurements that way. I look at our ability to host this webinar for small businesses. We're state funded. So I have to say, I think the state is. I think I'm a product of that, actually.
Yep. Definitely agree, Jinni. Next question from Sylvia. What is the difference between these certifications and WBE and C?
WBE and C is a private certification. Now that, you have that opportunity. But we promote our state certifications, obviously, but in consultation, we tell you about the other certifications that you can avail yourself to. But WeBank is a private, and SBA has certifications as well. Good.
All right. Couple of other questions. Can you do multiple certifications?
So multiple certifications, yeah, you can do as many as you want. For instance, I have clients who will work on their state and their federal certifications at the same time. They usually have designated people that assist them because it is a lot. But to answer your question, yes. But what I don't want my clients to do is get a certification to have a certification. I want you to have a good idea of what you're going to do with that certification, how you're going to reach out to potential opportunities with all of these certifications, because then it's just a certification.
All right. Are they less inclined to offer you certification if you have not earned profit after a year of certification? I'm asking for a new business.
Well, it's really interesting because when you do your profit and loss statement, it's not asking you, the end result is not to say I made $1 million. The end result is to prove that you generated revenue. And there are so many ways that businesses generate revenue that they don't think about, because they don't think about how they sell the service because of conditions. Follow me on this, how they sell the service and get paid for it. But if you sell your service to anyone, that is generating revenue. So the state obviously wants you to generate more revenue because they want to see your taxes and they want more of your money. But I certify businesses that have a net profit of 0. Okay, I didn't understand the last question, maybe. Is that what they're saying as well?
No, I think we have it covered.
Okay.
So I am going to combine 2 questions from 2 different people, from Sylvia and Deborah. Sylvia asks, how long does it take to receive the certifications? And similarly, Deborah mentioned that Deborah applied for the certification. It's her first year of applying, and she has a case manager, but told that it is being processed. She submitted all the documents as requested. And she submitted in June. Is it natural to have to wait this long?
So, first of all, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks. Unless you can prove that you have a pending opportunity, then you can ask for an expedite. Secondly, I'm not familiar with the terminology case manager in the certification world. And if you applied in June, you should look to see if you got an AI letter. If something was missing, did you provide it? But June, it's too long. You should have gotten some, you should have gotten some answer by now. And I want to give you a number. I think it's 2146. I'm not sure, but you can do 609-292-9292. Go on early, and you can ask them, you can ask, check for the first extension. And sometimes you have to wait all day, but the earlier you get on and request this consultation, they can also get that they can get that information for you. I I try to go to the auditor, and that maybe that's who you're talking about. They talk to as many people as they can. But in cases like that, I don't know where you're from, but why don't you um ask for a consultation, and I'll look into that for you.
Perfect.
Because that's
Um,
too long, and that
yeah,
just gives us a bad name. Something happened. So I'll look into it for you.
got it. Sylvia asks, can we apply for few certifications at the same time, or do we apply for each separately?
No, on the application, it's apply for as many that you are eligible for. For instance, there's the minority business enterprise, there's the woman business enterprise, and there's the minority woman business enterprise. If you're a minority woman business, if you're a minority woman, you would only apply for that. You wouldn't apply for the WBE or an MBE unless you're unless you want to apply for just an MBE. What happens is when you apply as a when you apply for all the ones that I mentioned, you are invariably rejected for the MBE and the WBE, and you're sad. You want to know what happened? Why was I rejected? What does this mean? Well, they combined it. So if you're a woman and you want to just apply for the WBE, you can apply for just the WBE. If you're a minority and you just want to apply for the minority MBE, you can apply for just that one. But if you're a minority woman and you designate it as such, you check all those boxes, you're only going to get a certification for an MWBE. I know it sounds just like an alphabet soup, but when you get that rejection, I feel it. And it's just because you think you have to check all of those boxes. You don't.
Got it. Thank you. Um, all right. I'm gonna skip one of these questions. Well, actually, we'll just repeat it. As a new business startup that's just recently incorporated, can we apply now?
Yes, you can.
All right, perfect. Do our state certifications carry to other neighboring states, such as New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware?
You have to apply for, well, we have an interesting relationship with Delaware, but for New York, you would have to apply for the New York state, and you apply in the reverse. New York applies as a foreign company, as a foreign company in New Jersey, but New York State, it's it's difficult. You can apply. Why I say it's difficult, because it takes so long to get a New York State certification because they're backed up. But if you apply for other certifications that tag on the New York State certification, sometimes you have a better opportunity. I know it just sounds so, what are you talking about? But if you apply for other certifications, like you could apply for New York, New Jersey Port Authority. With that, you get other certifications. But you have to apply, you have to look at it to see what you would like to apply for. DBE, you get a DOT and DBE, you get other certifications. I mean, that's why when people are like, oh, what's the government doing? I know I'm not saying that they're not flaws, but there are opportunities for you to participate in this program on a state and federal level that, I mean, it will, I don't want to say blow your mind, but it's so interesting and such an advantage for your business.
Got it. All right, we are at the 1:27 p.m. mark. We'll just take two more or three more questions, and then the rest we'll save for part two, or just save for consultation with Jinni. Sammy asks, we are certified by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey as both an MBE and a DBE. Does this satisfy our public sector entities across the state? We are also certified by NJSBDC. What I am unclear about is whether we are properly certified for procurements by the state and its divisions, as well as by entities like City of Newark. Is there another credential that we need to acquire?
Well, you're talking about your anchor certifications are in New York, and I have to stick with the New Jersey. I mean, I have to stick with our New Jersey certification. I certify people in New York, and New York State is very different. New York City is very difficult and impossible for New Jersey businesses who don't tie into it. New York City is very, it's not difficult. It's just that's the way they do business. Now, any of you, I can say this, anybody out there who's interested in doing business at some time during your business life in New York should start gathering the information that you need now. For instance, you should open a bank account in New York. You should get a client in New York so you're paid by a client in New York, because those are the kinds of documents that hold you back and eliminate you when and if you become certified with an entity that offers that New York State certification. I think that's the best way to put it. But New York State is very different. It's very different.
One of our attendees sort of commented on that, saying, go to NYStar to become a New Jersey vendor, and you will be asked for the company's BRC and business insurance.
NJStar or NY?
NYStar.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
That's good to know.
Yep. One more question. We have from Amanda, we have applied for the 5-year recertification process, but we're not specifically asked for a profit and loss statement and balance sheet, just business and personal taxes and lease information.
Well, you have to look at, they're called financial statements. On the form, they're called financial statements, and that's also known as business, profit and loss.
All right, so with that, we will sort of have to come to a conclusion with our Q&A. I'm sorry, I know there's 28 more questions left. I just really hope that you find value from the Q&A so far that we've done. We are having a part two. Our part two is on September 5th with Jinni. This was part one. Part two will be on September 5th. Keep an eye out on our events calendar. Register there as you did for this. I am showing you on screen right now our website, NJSBDC.com. You just type in that acronym, you will be directed to this. What I meant by the red button that says request counseling, you will see it here and here. All you have to do, well, we at NJSBDC can only serve New Jersey small business owners and residents. So if you are an attendee coming in from New York or Delaware or any other state, the SBDC program by the SBA is a nationwide program. So look for an SBC in your state. For New Jersey residents, we are your location, your one-stop location. Put in your email, put in your county in New Jersey, request counseling. You will be guided to our little registration process, and that is where I mean that you should put in that you'd like to speak to Jinni. Two more things that I just like to quickly, and not also to add, I think our website, not to be biased, I know I'm biased, but it's a great resource. So please
Yeah,
take a minute
yes.
or two to just explore our website, or NJEDA's website or some other website. And, you know, you'll see our upcoming event schedule. You'll see our obviously testimonials, which I think you should give a read, but also resources and data and counseling and things like that. Now, I just want to quickly show this page over here, which will take you to our YouTube channel, and that is where this webinar recording will also end up, as well as the hundreds and hundreds of webinars that we've done in the past 2 years. There you go. So take a look at that. The next thing is statewide events. This is where you'll see all our networks, our NJSBDC networks events, all of it. So I don't know how far out we've scheduled, apparently until November 14th. But yeah, you should register. So for any topic from marketing to understanding your credit, to build a business with Amazon, or writing a capability statement, there are webinars and events happening in Spanish. So if you're a Spanish speaker, you should definitely attend or refer this to a family or friend. We also provide counseling in Spanish, but you do have to ask to speak with a Spanish speaking consultant. All right, so that is the second page that I want to share. And that's it. As I mentioned, part 2 with Jinni will be on September 5th. It is available on our event schedule already, so keep an eye out. Next Thursday, August 29th. This webinar we've already done, but it is a replay because credit, who does not want to know about credit? It's a great and important topic. It is with one of our consultants, Ozzy Lorenko, who has also done previous webinars with us. So elevate your financial profile with this credit webinar series and unlock your future growth. It is a replay, not a live webinar. And as always, Jinni and all our consultants in the network, we are here to support you. We've helped more than 15,000 plus small businesses start, grow, and thrive. Go to njsbdc.com and you will be able to find all the resources available. We hope that you take care of yourselves. We hope that you take care of your businesses. We are here to help you, and see you live in the next 2 weeks. All right. Thank you, Jinni, so much for all the great information. We really appreciate it. Bye. Take care.
Thanks as well. Bye.